Hi, my name's Andy. I'm one of the wine specialists working here in the Waitrose in John Lewis, Oxford Street. Today I'm going to try with you a wine from Alsace, a Riesling from a winery called Gassmann. This is named for Marie-Thérèse and Louis Rolly and Gassmann, whose marriage brought together their family's 60 hectares of vine in 1967, although some of the family parcels of vineyard date all the way back to the 17th century. The wines today are made by their son Pierre Gassmann, and most are sold directly into Michelin-star restaurants in France. So we're very lucky to stock this small parcel of Riesling. It's made in the village of Rochevire in the northern tip of the Haute-Rhône, so right up in the north of Alsace. There are no Grand Crus in this village because when the system was set up in the 1970s, the villagers said that all 12 sites should be Grand Cru or none at all. And the authorities took them at their word, and they have none at all. Pierre Gassmann has a commitment to making his wines biodynamically. Everything's done organically in the vineyard and in the winery, but he doesn't certify his wines as biodynamic, and part of that is because of the weed killer he uses in those vineyards that are really heavy in clay. It would cost him 4 full-time vineyard workers to clear the weeds manually, and he simply can't afford that, or rather we can't afford that in terms of the price of the wine. So he uses weed killer and hence not certifiable as biodynamic. But otherwise everything is done with the utmost respect to the health of the soil and to the quality of the grapes as they're harvested. On the subject of harvesting, Pierre has a habit of harvesting about 2 weeks later than all of his neighbours, so the grapes are very, very ripe, and he says he harvests when the pips themselves have gone brown, which is an advanced stage of ripeness. Each of the 70 plots that he owns are harvested and vinified separately. They're vinified naturally, so it's the yeasts, the bloom on the skin of the grapes, and in the environment of the winery that conduct the fermentation. And the ferments either in 100 to 400-year-old oak vats or modern stainless steel, and the ferments take from anywhere from 6 weeks to 4 months before he finally gets to blend the different plots together and bottle in September. He only releases the wines when he considers them ready to be drunk. Even dry, as this wine's classified, these wines, naturally fermented wines, contain a little residual sugar. The natural yeasts often don't convert all of the sugars present in the juice, and so this does have about 9 grams per litre of residual sugar. It's pale gold in colour. I mean, it's a 2016 wine, so it's had both a little time in those old vats and also 4 years now in the bottle. Now on the nose you've got the classic Riesling citrus characters of lime and white flowers, but there's also a much riper note of apricot and honey, and a slightly oily character. Now, part of this is because the wine, some of the grapes going into the wine have been affected by botrytis, by noble rot. Rich, ripe, concentrated, very powerful on the palate. The acidity really makes the mouth water on the finish. Really long finish, and that honey botrytis note really pushes through, comes through in the end. This is almost a sweet wine that isn't sweet, a dry dessert wine, if that makes any sense at all. These wines are a curiosity of Alsace. The style doesn't really exist anywhere else. Lovely weight, only 12.5% alcohol, not profoundly alcoholic. Really beautiful. I've tried this wine with dressed crab, and it was a wonderful, wonderful food match. The earthiness, the saltiness of the crab, and the slight sweetness, the honeyed note of the Riesling was just incredible. But it's also worth trying this wine with duck or with goose. In fact, I'm gonna try the rest of this bottle, I think, with confit of duck, and see how we go.